Here are influencer marketing metrics you need to be tracking on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube to make sure that your campaign is actually bringing you in revenue. So most brands are using outdated tracking methods, and I'm going to explain to you what they're doing and then what you should be doing instead. And this will save you a lot of time. First, they have big results. It did pretty well isn't really a metric that you can go by. The second one is there's no proof of actual traffic and sales. It's not being tracked. And the third thing is without the actual measurement and the tracking, you're not able to scale. So how do you track influencer metrics? What is the best way to do this? Well, it can be broken up into 5 steps: awareness, engagement, traffic, sales, and then brand trust. The framework that you can use for this effectively is AIDA. Awareness: did people see this sponsorship? Interest: did they react to it? Desire: did they click it, save it, search about it, and then ask, maybe Google about it? And then the most important action: did they buy, they sign up, or convert? Now, the biggest problem when it comes to awareness is people don't know your brand exists. You might not be top of mind in your category. You might have just launched a new product line and you're not well known in product line, or your competitors might really be taking over the market. So what is the metrics that you can use to judge awareness? It's mostly reach. So this is a calculation of how many unique individuals saw the content. This is different from impressions. Your impressions can be 300,000, but your reach can be 150,000. Now, if you have this layout, you're going to have an average views per person of 2, in which case, this is not the same thing as a reach of 300K, and it's something to be mindful of. Now, the second metric is, in fact, impressions. This is good for targeting the same audience multiple times, and when they see that, they're more incentivized to buy because they've seen that product before. But it's not really good if you're trying to expand to a new audience. And the third awareness metric you could use is brand mention. How often in the comments are they tagging your friends? This is specifically for Instagram. How often do they use this hashtag relating to the campaign? And how often do they have user-generated content which actually mentions this product, aside from the sponsored posts? Now, you want to make sure that you're tracking these metrics. How many names, how many times your brand is mentioned in the comments, count then the conversions, and then find your mentions divided by the total mentions to get a pretty good idea of where your brand stands compared to its competitors. So how can you track awareness on YouTube? With YouTube, it's a little bit different. We're focused on views, unique viewers, impressions. Those are kind of the same. Then we're looking at click-through rate. Unlike Instagram and TikTok, most people are not just swiping through, they're clicking on the video. So click-through rate is of paramount importance. And then something on YouTube we're looking at is traffic sources. Is it from browse, suggested, or search? Remember, YouTube keeps compounding. Don't judge a post within 24 hours if it doesn't blow up. Whereas on TikTok, you'll look at things like video views, unique viewers, but more importantly, average watch time. Very good indicator of engagement. TikTok, it's hard to capture attention, which is why you want to pay attention to this and iterate on your hooks if your watch time is going down. And another thing that's important is shares. Shares is the biggest signal for virality. And virality is what a lot of you should be aiming for on TikTok or Instagram. So what problem might you have with engagement? People might be seeing you, but they don't care. They don't care to go to your website. They don't care to buy your product. If you have this problem, the goal is to get higher engagement. So how do you get higher engagement? Well, just to be clear, what is engagement? Engagement isn't just likes. Likes are very surface level. They also have low friction, so it's easy for anyone to drop a like, including a bot. Comments, where on the other hand, start signaling more depth and effort. Shares are another phenomenal metric, and saves are actually one of the best ones because it means delayed intent. They thought this post was so good, they would want to watch it again in the future. These 3 signals you should ask for when you're talking to an influencer, or scrape it yourself from their profile. Now, in terms of comments, don't just count what types of comments they get, actually categorize them. These are some categories you could use. 1, how many people say, where do I buy? This is purchase intent. Second is, does this work for X, Y, whatever the case is? This is an objection or FAQ. Another one might be, I tried this, it's great. Phenomenal social proof. Maybe someone does sponsored question mark. This could be a bit of friction with trust. Price question mark. This might be a product that's pricing sensitivity. So when you get an influencer to promote your product on Instagram or TikTok, look at the comments, take these 5 different categories, put it into ChatGPT and tell it pull out and classify what percentage of each category do the comments fall under. Now, one thing that's an absolutely gold metric, and you won't have access to this unless you ask the influencer behind the scenes, this is save rate. To calculate this, take saves divided by impressions times 100. So if you have impressions of 200,000, saves of 4,000, your save rate is 2%. And this would be huge for most categories. Now, what you do is you don't look at this number in absolute. You look at it in relativity. That means you compare this number, calculate this number for a bunch of creators, and then you compare a bunch of them, let's say 20 creators, to narrow it down to the 5 that you would like to work with. Another thing is engagement rate. This is calculated differently with each provider. Modash has a different calculation. Upfluence has a different calculation. Heck, on our own dashboard over here, we have our own engagement, which is typically a combination of likes, comments, evergreen score. And what it does is it'll give you a pretty good relative benchmark to how many people are interacting with the creator. The more people interact, the more sales you're going to get. Sounds simple. So aim for an engagement rate of about 4 or 5%, but then again, it's all relative. Typically, you take total interactions, likes, comments, subscribers divided by followers times, actually omit subscribers. That doesn't count. Most people are completing video completion, or on YouTube, that's average view duration. So for example, an example on TikTok, your short gets 100,000 views, but completion is only 25%. That simply means your hook worked well, but the content didn't hold. So the creator should improve their content. Now, whereas if you're looking to sponsor a YouTuber and you see they have a 60-second segment, you ask them to share the retention, and you find the retention is at 45%, that means viewers stayed through the brand mode, which is the most important, because that means they saw the sponsorship. So to sum up, what engagements can you look at by platform? Instagram, saves, shares, comments, likes, stories, exit, link taps, profile actions. You can all see this through the business manager. Remember, if you're negotiating with any influencer, you can always ask them to share this info. And if they feel uncomfortable, you can always sign an NDA or a clause beforehand. On TikTok, it would be shares, watch time, completion rate, where to buy comments. And on YouTube, it would be retention graph, common sentiment, links, and description link clicks. Now, let's say that you have the problem where you're getting engagement, but you're not getting movement. You're not getting people to the site. They're not converting. So typically this sounds like, you're getting traffic, you're getting attention, but not traffic. People don't leave the platform, and we're not collecting any leads. So in this case, your goal is to get traffic and leads from these sponsored posts. So let me break down the solution. First is you need to be targeting link clicks. So let's get some metrics set into place. Link clicks is, or the CTR formula for this would be link clicks divided by total impressions times 100. So if your story gets 50,000 views, link taps 2%, 2,000, your click-through rate is 4%. Now, if you have a low CTR, typically it's because your offer is not compelling enough, you have the wrong audience, you have an unclear CTA, or you have too much friction in the link click. It might be buried by other links, it might be at the bottom, whatever the case is. So to actually track it, first, use Google Analytics 4. You'll be able to track all of this on the page. And then you're going to also be able to see what is going on in the back end. How many people are signing up through email? How many people are finishing any of your quizzes and your free trials? So start putting in UTM source, UTM medium, UTM campaign, UTM content links. Make sure there's short, clean URLs. Make sure that you have a dedicated landing page to actually have a much higher conversion. And not only that, but we did a study where we were looking at different conversion pages with ConvertKit. We found that if your conversion page is tailored and it's actually custom made with the influencer, you're going to have not a 0.5x or 0.7x, you're going to have a 2 or 3x higher conversion rate. Make sure you have proper discount codes and you have interactive post-purchase surveys. So this would just be the example structure. And I'll also give you this link if you comment down below tool. So let's say now you have the problem where you are looking for more sales. So you have people coming to the site, you need more sales. What do you do? Well, that means your focus is conversions. Okay. So calculate your conversion rate. Conversions divided by clicks times 100. That'll give you conversion rate in percentage. And typically anything above 1-2% is fine. Anything below 1% needs work. So, and of course, depends on your average order value. Now, the other metric you should look at, what is total revenue plus the average order value coming from influencer traffic? You should pay attention and make sure that the average order value is much greater than that which you're getting from ad traffic, because people are much more warmed up to the idea of buying from you, which is why you should have higher ticket items, especially when partnering with influencers. And then you should look at your cost per acquisition. You can find this by doing your total spend divided by your conversions. Remember, if your cost per acquisition is less than your cost to run ads, you're having a bit of a problem. But if your cost to acquire a customer is greater, or I actually got that backwards, but you get the point there. And then you should look at ROI. So ROI is very simple, and this is really the ultimate metric. Earned media value. A lot of people don't use this correctly. This should be an estimate of your reach and engagement in regards to paid media. So you want to use it when you're trying to build awareness, and you want to have a very efficient way of promoting yourself on media. It shouldn't be used as profit. So for example, you might have a spend of 25,000, but that gets you an earned media value of 90,000, which in that case would make it more than worth it. Now, what if you have the problem where people don't trust your brand? It might be because you're a new entrant into a market, you're going into a crowded market where it's very hard to differentiate yourself, or you're getting a lot of bad reviews, which is just obliterating your reputation. Well, the first thing you should do is look at positive and negative mentions. There's tools like this Brand24, which will actually let you paste the URL of your channel and have it set to track automatically. So what you can do is actually sample 200 comments. Then you can use AI to tag each of these into 3 categories: positive, neutral, negative. And then you can start looking for patterns. If you see a lot of comments are, I need this, I tried it, it works, and you see less objections and skepticism, that's a really good sign. The second brand health metric is you see an engagement and lift. You see Google Trends keep spiking up with your brand name. You go through the search console, you see that your name is coming higher, and you see traffic spikes. Another thing is the share of your voice amongst your competitors. Use a tool like Brand24 again to track this and see where you stand against your competitors. So what is the scoreboard? What do you always want to track? Awareness, interest, action, and sentiments. These are the top 4 things that you need to track that are going to come up time and time again for whatever social media platform you use. So here I've got this little table. Feel free to take a screenshot. So basically, here's a little matrix to diagnose your problems. If you have high reach and low engagement, you've got the wrong creative angle, or you've got a weak hook. Now, if instead you're getting high engagement but really low clicks, it means your CTA is unclear, okay? Or maybe your offer is unclear. Now, if you're getting high clicks but low conversion, fix up the landing page. If you have low clicks but high conversion, you've got a good audience, probably a weak content, or it could be the CTA. Now, if you're getting high sales, but you're getting negative sentiment from those high sales, you got to fix the expectations that you're setting in your creative briefs and how the creators talk about your product. Here's an example of a full campaign. Let's say there's a creator and they have all these metrics. So if their Instagram reel results are a reach of 100,000, 180,000 impressions, 260K, you got all these performance metrics, 60% ROI, decent for the conversion. TikTok, 120% ROI, all these metrics. And YouTube, 124% ROI with these metrics. Then what you can judge from these kind of metrics, and feel free to pause any of them, is first, you got to scale YouTube. It's your best ROI and a long-term asset. So what I mean by this is YouTube at 124% ROI, the creator got 90,000 views, and the retention through the sponsor was 48%. So a lot of qualified people saw the YouTuber. Now, what you can also do is improve the landing page for TikTok, because we saw here that TikTok had really strong traffic, 900,000 views, but only $4,000 in revenue and only 55 purchases. That is much less than a 1% conversion. The next thing is you want to keep Instagram for brand trust. A lot of saves just means a lot of people are delaying their intent. You can see here that there was a lot of saves with this video. So make sure you're looking at all these metrics and then making decisions accordingly. FYI, ask these metrics when you're asking influencers to send you over data. A good reporting timeline that you could use also when collaborating with influencers: 7 days after posting, get a metrics report, and 30 days after posting on YouTube, get a report from the creators. Remember, influencer marketing isn't a mystery. It's just unmeasured a lot of the time, which is why people fail, because they don't know how to measure their metrics. But once you do start measuring it, you're gonna be able to analyze it, you're gonna be able to optimize it, and you're gonna be able to scale it to the moon. So the key takeaways: use the AIDA framework, track everything, make sure you have a scoreboard, and diagnose issues systematically. Just a recap, and a engagement recap over here, traffic and leads recap, and a conversion recap. Feel free to stop at any point and take photos, but effectively, this should be your action plan. If you'd like us to do this for you, just comment down below marketing, and we're actually gonna send you a roadmap with free creators and how we can help you out.